The one thing that blew my mind about your book was that I don't think people really assess it as a deeply problematic mental disorder. Like, I think that, like, everybody's like, yeah, I got anxiety, I'm anxious, and especially as a Jew, it's sort of like, of course you are. That's part of what we are.
Yeah, but they also medicate the shit out of themselves.
Right.
And they get diagnosed far more than people ever have.
Yeah.
So it's not like, the 1940s or 50s where you're like, oh, he's neurotic, I'm going to get psychoanalyzed.
Yeah.
Now you have to, in order to get the Xanax or the Ativan, you go to a psychiatrist and they're like, you have panic disorder, you have anxiety disorder, you have this or that.
Now, in your experience and what you've been through, did you find that was enough for you? I mean, do you find, I know that you say it in a certain way in your book, but see, like, I know I have anxiety, and after reading your book, and the reason I wanted to talk to you was that I don't think that I ever was diagnosed with it or that I realized what was going on with me, because my anxiety would amplify to a degree of paralysis that looked like depression. Like, if you let anxiety play its course and you get overwhelmed by everything, you're exhausted.
Yeah, and depression, and the worst kind of depression, I'm told, is an anxious depression. Like, if somebody is catatonically depressed, and they go through like electroshock therapy,
right,
or they get their medication right, just enough so they can feel again, and they start getting jittery and nervous and anxious, that's when they kill themselves.
Really?
Like, that's the most dangerous time, is when they come out of the really catatonic depression. Because you're catatonically depressed, you can't really find the energy to do anything.
Right. But, like, a lot of times I thought, like, I was maybe, diagnosed as dysthymic or whatever.
Right.
But I realize now that it's just panic, and that the other side of panic is just sort of like exhaustion and dread.
And it's all, and it's all big mush of mental craziness, right?
But did you think that, was it enough for you, that this anxiety idea, or was there a time where you insisted, like, it's got to have some behavioral root, or some so there's some legacy of bad parenting that like, did you ever go the Freudian way?
I never really went the Freudian way because my mom was a therapist and she wasn't Freudian.
Yeah.
And I never really was very interested in knowing the narrative behind it. I just wanted to feel fucking better.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really want to know where it came from. I mean, I have anger at my mom.
Yeah.
Who's in the book.
Yeah.
And who was really anxious for years, decades, before she went back to school to become a therapist, largely because she had gone into therapy to deal with her anxiety and was like, oh, I could be good at this. And one of her shrinks suggested, you can be good at this.
So she was smart and, one step ahead of her therapist.
But her therapist pulled her into the profession. I mean, in a very way, which I'm not sure the ethics of that.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah.
I think the ethics become vague with therapists now that, aren't, licensed as doctors and other things anyways.
But I'm only now looking at what role my mother's behavior might have played in my anxiety.
Just now, after the
Just
book,
now.
after you finally get your
or
act
while
together.
while I was writing the book, I should say, is when I started to look into that. Before that, I just figured, all right, I'm a Jew. Everyone I know in my life, everyone I know in my family is anxious. I'm gonna be like, this is why I'm anxious.
Yeah.
Lock the gate!